News from your state as it happens, fresh from the regions of the North, South, East and West. State infrastructure, agriculture, economies, politics, security, education, health, governance and more. As long as it happens in Nigeria, be sure to see it first on News Across Nigeria, only on Channels Television.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Well, you did say you didn't agree that the discos don't have exclusivity of those distribution areas. But what if government says, well, look, we've got 40% of this, and so we should also have a say? Because part of what he said was, they say none of the discos could claim such rights on any of those areas except they can guarantee their ability to consistently provide electricity services to the areas. Does that fly for you?
Well, the federal government is not the manager of the partnership. And if they should use their big stick to tell the managers that this is what we want, then there's a problem, there's a crack in the house. But it's something that if they are going to change the dynamics, then they need to come and sit down and talk about it. However, the managers of the discos, I don't think they are unreasonable to say, if we cannot get to this place, then nobody should provide electricity for those areas. The managers of the discos are saying, simple, if we can't get there and you are willing to do it, let us sit down and agree on terms.
But that's not fair, because if you think about it,
because they
right
have
now,
paid for it. They've paid for it.
They paid for it. They
paid for a geographical area.
Was that what they paid for?
Well, they did,
or the assets, the assets which they bought over? Wasn't that what they paid for?
Well, if you acquire an asset of a company, then you've paid for it.
The idea is that they ought to be able to make more investment. What we've seen is that the discos seem unwilling to be able to, or unable to make these investments, and are unwilling to sell some of their assets or relinquish some of the hold that they currently have on these companies and get new investors in to invest and make the necessary things that need to be done so that people can have electricity. That's what we seem to be seeing.
That's a new one as far as I'm concerned, because if truly you are an investor and you want dividends in your investments, you will not stop anything that would generate good returns for you.
What do you make of?
I mean, and it's unhuman too, that if a disco cannot get to a certain place and provide electricity, and the company is saying, no, nobody should go there because it's my area. When there are people willing to invest there, what you naturally need to do is to invite those people and agree on terms under which you will provide electricity to that place. That should be it. And I don't think any disco has refused to do that.
How will an escrow account between the federal government and the discos help the discos in this situation?
You mean escrow account?
Yes.
To use it for what? For payment of...
yes. For payments, for getting their return on investments, just for anything.
If the escrow account is meant to pay for services rendered, then they should be willing to accept that. I mean, I think they should.
Is it true that discos say that they can't distribute anything because you Jankos don't supply anything to them?
Well, like I told you, electricity power generation is import dependent. And the major problem this particular government faced was the decline in foreign exchange. And for as long as, but like Ahmed mentioned, now that the Niger Delta issue seemed to have calmed down, the government has increased its foreign exchange base now, which actually almost threatened this government. I mean, the lack of availability of foreign exchange threatened this government. Food, we have to import. Power equipment, almost everything is import dependent. Now that what is what is under the federal government's control in foreign exchange generation is the calmness in Niger Delta, so that we can meet our quota, no matter the price, which we thank God that has been attained to a large extent. The federal government is doing it. The acting vice president has calmed the situation down now. We thank God for that. Things are becoming normal now. So I can imagine that we would be able to propel now the foreign exchange required for power generation equipment, the replacement of the dilapidated network. I mean, foreign exchange will be made available to them, provided that a special concession is given to power subsector.
Another concession.
Yeah, I mean,
this concession may just never end from the look of things.
Well, I mean, if it is true that power constitutes 80% of our development requirements, then I think we have to put our money where our mouth is.
All right.
You understand what I mean?
As long as you don't keep dipping hands into the pockets of the people to get the money to put where the mouth is.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your comment on this morning. We're out to anchor at that point. Mr. Joshua Muka is the chairman. William Duncan Hydro, now Qual Falls Hydro. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. We're back in a moment. Don't go away.